Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, while we're converting this little Vauxhall Movano into a nice little campervan conversion, I'm going to be replacing the top whirly vent that's inside this van with a fully opening fan vented skylight instead. Now the van has one of the really old style whirly vents on the top, and this has probably been in for years. It's directly above where the bed is going to be at the back of the van, and it's extremely noisy. From the sounds of it, the bearing's pretty much on its way out, and if I give it a little rotate you can probably hear how bad it is. As I say, that's very noisy, and even when you're driving along, as soon as you get above like 40-50 mile an hour, it's just rattling away like hell, and it's just very noisy, and it's just not something that I'm going to be wanting in the actual van conversion itself. So instead I've been out and I've got one of these fully open, well, as a tilt open, with the fan inside, and these both exhaust and intake for fresh air, as well as expelling air while you're cooking, things like that as well. It does have some lights underneath as well, so it's LED and a powered fan inside it, with the insect cover across the top as well, just to stop all the crawling nasties trying to get out in when the vents open itself. So first things first, we're going to have to get up on the top. We're going to have to get this old vent fully removed. Then we're going to have to measure up, make some cuts to be sure that this vent is going to be mounted quite nicely on the top. Now on the roof you can see that there's some ribs on the roof line, so those will probably get filled in with some butyl tape, something like that, just a waterproof tape, just to be sure that there's going to be no gaps. There's going to be no leaks, because obviously I don't want any sort of leaks, especially when this is going to be, as I say, above where the bed's going to be further down the line. But this is one of those jobs that needs doing first before I start putting in all the roof insulation, the roof line and things like that. So as I say, now's the time to get one of these mounted in, and then we'll be able to get the roof fully insulated and get the full ply lining up for the roof as well. So let's get up on the roof, let's get this old vent fully disconnected. We'll do some measurements, do some cuts, we'll get this new vent in place, we'll make sure it's all fully watertight, and by the end of this video we shall have a fully functioning, fully opening, powered exhaust and intake vent that, as you can see, it opens and closes as well. So that should be a nice little change compared to the rattly old knackered bearing whirly vent that's currently on at the moment. So let's get cracked on and get this vent swapped over. Right, so that's the hole now fully cut. It's been ground down with the flap disc just to make sure there's no rough edges, and then I've just gone around and just painted the cut edge just with a bit of primer as well, just to make sure that it's not going to be rusting in the future. Now because of this rib in the middle, I'm going to have to level up all the way around just to make sure it's pretty much the same height as this rib on either side, and I'm just going to be using double-sided butyl tape with this. Probably be a couple of layers going all the way around, and then after that there's also going to be plenty of adhesive sealant as well, because I don't want this leaking at all. But as I say, once it's all fully built up with the butyl tape, that should give a good waterproof barrier as it is, and then with the amount of sealant adhesive that's going to be used as well, there should be no leaks for years to come. So as I say, we'll get this ran all the way around, get it all leveled up with the rib on the roof, and then we'll be able to get the roof vent in and get it all secured down. Right, so 4 layers of butyl tape and a hell of a lot of sealant adhesive later, and that's the vent all in and looking nice and neat as well, going all the way around the edges. It was looking a little bit messy when I put the first layer of butyl tape down, but that's just because it sticks to itself and it can be quite awkward to work with. But as it's built up, as you can see, it's nice and flush with the rib as well. All of the screw holes are all sealed over as well, and I'm pretty certain that's never going to leak. Certainly for a hell of a long time, put it that way. So now that's fully mounted in, we can go on the inside. And as I said, this is a wind up vent, so I can just twist this little knob, and as you can see, the top of the vent opens up completely. That just gives fresh air. And then once I get the cables wired in for the fan itself, it has 2 speed settings, and that's the inner shroud, and that has some LED lights in it as well. So I can have some LED lights, and the fan can either exhaust or be used as an intake, either or. Now I can't quite put the inner shroud on yet, just because obviously now that's in place and I've got the solar panel on, I'm now going to be able to fully insulate the roof lining, get some new roof lining up, get that all carpeted, things like that as well. So now that's in, I can run some preliminary wiring going along the inside of the frame itself. I'll be able to run it along down the C-pillar, and because roughly that's going to be where a lot of the electrics are, that's where I've got the cables coming down for the solar panels, and that's where I'm going to have a bit of a sofa bench area. So probably most of the electrics are going to sit under there. So I can run some of the cabling in preparation of that, but it means that now that the vent's in, I can now crack on, get the insulation for the roof lining in, get some ply roof lining made up and carpeted as well. But obviously I wanted all of the work done on the top of the van itself, getting the solar panel mounted on and getting the vent fitted in place. Otherwise it would have just been a pain having to do it with all the insulation and the ply lining in place. Obviously I can't get the shroud in place just yet because I'm going to have to get the ply lining up, get the hole cut for that, and then that's going to sit in above it. But it does actually fit in nicely. Quite awkward to do with one hand, but as you can see, that's roughly how it'll look. And it should be relatively flush with the roof line once all that's put in place as well. Just as I say, I need to get all that in place with the installation first. But it's coming along nicely, and that's how I fitted the roof vent into the roof of this Vauxhall Movano. So we can just close that down as well. Now that's a nice watertight, weatherproof roof vent fitted in. I say I'm going to run the preliminary wiring now, and I might give it a test fire up as well, just to make sure that it's all working as it should. And then I might pick it up again when I've got all the roof lining in place. So let's get cracked on, get the final finishing touches done. Right, so to add the finishing cowl around the turbo vent, I've actually had to crack on and do quite a lot of other jobs just to be able to get that cowl properly fitted and in its final place. As you can see, I've been cracking on. All the walls are now fully insulated, all the ceiling is insulated, it's all carpet lined as well. And obviously I had to get this carpet lining with the new ceiling panels up in place, because the cowl is then going to sit inside that, inside the actual gap, and that lip is going to cover over just the square going around the remaining gap around the actual vent itself. Now I've still got the final wiring to do, so it's just a case of connecting the cowl wiring, which is for the lights inside the cowl, to the wiring that's for the fan. And as you can see, there's already a cable, for a power cable, that's been ran as well, and that goes all the way down the C-pillar, and that's coming down in that little bunch of wires there that's all been pre-wired for things like the ceiling lights, some USB charging, the solar panel cabling, all that's been run down that C-pillar. So as I said, just to get the final finishing cowl on, I'm just going to be connecting these wires up, and so I'm just going to be twisting them together for the fan and the lights, get them connected onto the 12 volts power, and that'll be going off to a fuse box when it's all going to get tidied and neatened away, when there's going to be some seating area and all the electronics are going to be under there as well. So let's get this cowl up in place, and I might just wire in the battery just to show it all tested and working, things like that as well. but it's getting there. As I say, it's been a long slog to be able to get to this position, because as I say, everything else has pretty much had to be done inside to be able to get that cowl in its final place. So let's get it on, get it tested, and let's see what it looks like when it's all working. Right, so there we go, that is the cowl all fitted, and that is the turbo fan all fitted and working. As you see, it looks all nice and neat now, especially with all the new headlining in place, with it all being carpeted as well. As I say, I need to get all this in place with all the insulation, just so I could get the cowl in, get all the wiring done in place and tested. But now I've got the battery wired in, I've just got the cables just connected directly to the battery, just for testing purposes. As I say, this is all going to get wired into a proper fuse board that'll all get housed beneath a little sofa that's going to be getting built around that area. But just for testing purposes, we can see that the light turns on just with that switch, and it has lights going all the way around, and with that being above where the bed area is going to be, it can be used as like a reading light or just a nighttime light, things like that, even though there is going to be a dimmer and more LED downlights around the bed area and all the way down the living area as well. But it's an alternative light source as well. We can turn those off and we can turn the fan on. Now it's a two-way fan, so it does exhaust and intake as well. It's really quiet as well, which is nice. It's a hell of a lot quieter than the old whirly fan that was previously on the van. That was rattling like hell, so I really had to get rid of that, and it's a hell of a lot quieter driving the van now that all vents is out. Now obviously we just twist the knob and that opens up the skylight as well, just to let all that fresh air in or out. We can turn that off and let the motor fully stop. We can then reverse the direction of the motor, and it acts as both an exhaust and an intake to bring fresh air in. So if we switch it on the other side, you can see it's now spinning that way around. So I say it acts as both an exhaust going out for when we're cooking, things like that, but also if you want fresh air brought into the van, just reverse the direction of it and then open the skylight, and it just means there's going to be lots of fresh air coming in instead. So that's how I've replaced the old whirly vent on top of this little Vauxhall Movano Campervan Conversion with one of these little turbo vent fans with the fully powered with the lights going all the way around it as well. Now if you're after this sort of vent fan, I'll put links in the description of the video just in case you're wanting to go out. It'll be to eBay because that's where I generally get most of my parts. I'm not a big fan of Amazon, I don't know why. It's just I've always been an eBay person really, ever since a long time, put it that way. So I'd say if you're looking for similar sort of things, just check the description beneath the video and I'll go out to links where I bought this particular vent fan. And I say I'm quite happy and pleased with how it's turned out. It looks nice and neat, looks nice and neat above as well. And I say it's got rid of that old really rattly whirly vent as well. And I say it's just a twist knob action just to open and close the skylight, and we'll shut that up, and now it's nice and watertight as well. So there we go. I hope you found this video useful. I'd say if you did, if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing, give the video a good old thumbs up as well, and hopefully I'll see you on the next instalment as we're going along converting this Vauxhall Movano into what should hopefully be a lovely little campervan conversion. So thanks for watching this video, and hopefully we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.